Yeah. So we're live. We're live now with Vaesen Ep2. Um, yeah. This is Three Skulls Tavern. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm once again, like in episode 1, I'm a player, joined by the lovely, going down the side here, above me, Tony, Simon, and Rodrigo. Thank you all for joining again. And GM'd by Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hey.
Yeah, and not much else to say. If you like the show, you like the channel, please hit the follow button. That's really helpful for keeping the channel going. Um, yeah, and it keeps me motivated to keep the thing going when I see that there's people following too. So, without any further ado, I think we'll just jump straight into it. Obviously, if you're here live and you can feel free to chat with us, um, and yeah, we'll keep our eyes on it
Best we can.
as best we can. You shouldn't keep your eye on it really, Eric, but the rest of us
Nope,
will.
but maybe I will. All right. So we're going to do a quick little recap before I get us right back into the action. Amadeo, what happened last time?
Okay. So I met all these fine gentlemen and lady. So it's Ben, Selma, and Hilmar. We were part of this society that were kind of revigorating or restarting the society. That basically was their objective was to understand what was the basin, which I still don't know what's the basin, but that we had a special ability was able to see things that are invisible. So we have been on the castle in Uppsala that it was used to be part of the society, and we have been cleaning up, checking the rooms, checking what it contained, etc. When we received a letter from the parish of Dalafia, something like that,
Yeah.
from Father Bogbeast, or
Yep.
so that apparently, he was contacting the society because apparently he used to know somebody who knew us, and he thought that the issues that they were living in Dalafiard was something that could be of interest for us. The idea was like they were kind of musket wielding fairies shooting at people, and apparently they have already taken 2 or 3 people. They have shot 2 or 3 people, if I remember correctly. It was so he just asked us if we could actually go and check this out. So we prepared ourselves. I mean, we don't know much each other. We know a little bit our abilities. So we split into groups. One to just buy, errands just to get some weapons and any other items. And Hjalmar and myself, we were the ones investigating and researching what was this town and where if there was any masked fairies in the library. And Selma and Sven, I think they were. No, it was no. You're right.
The other
It
way
was
around.
the other way around. Okay, so Amadeo and Selma were checking the things, and Yelmer and Sven were shopping. I think it was a fight about if to get a crossbow or a gun. I think, if I remember correctly. The other thing, we got the gun, right, the revolver.
Yeah.
And so we were, we took a carriage that they paid.
That's-
I still remember that. You owe me that, guys.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think I'm well off, but I'm not. You owe me. Anyhow, we arrived there, and the idea on the letter was like, okay, don't take the main road because these fairies are camping the main road, but then Sven like wanting to be the leader and thinking, yeah, no, I mean, this is not real. I mean, don't believe these people. Let's go through the main road. It's the easiest, and I don't want to get dirty, kind of. And we were like, okay, fine, whatever. We follow you, but you go first. And then I think we didn't walk that much. Suddenly we were, we stumbled into these naked 2 people that, a male and a female, for what we could tell, wearing like these big antlers on the head. And they just suddenly started shooting at us. And Sven, all proud of himself, he stood there like shooting with, I don't know, with a gun and trying to shoot at them. But he got shot twice, one very critical on the stomach. And I think Yalmar and myself were hiding, and Selma were hiding. But then at that moment, bravely, Selma jumped in and tried to distract them, so I could actually take care of Sven and go and carry him away. I think Yalmar at that moment, because I don't remember this because I think I was paying more attention to Sven, but I think he went to find some help, if I remember correctly. And I think that was Fade to Black. Me carrying Sven in the middle of the woods, and Yalmar nowhere to be seen. And Selma, I feel very bad, but we left her behind. We are not gentlemen at all.
And so
And
that's where
Selma
we'll pick up.
was
Go ahead.
not hiding. She was taking a picture.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Forgot that.
Yes.
Forgot that.
Thank you. No, that's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
So, Selma,
Oh no.
you're being dragged through the woods. Like, you're through the dried, crinkly leaves of last year and old pine and things like this, and you're being pulled along by your ankle by this woman who in one shoulder is sticking out the arrow that Sven had put there, and there's blood trailing all the way down her arm, drying probably near the top of it. And you're just being bumped around, barely conscious. And everything is a bit of a haze as you're being pulled along the forest floor, and you can feel your own blood from where you've been shot dragging along behind you, like through the leaves, as you're pulled further and further away from where they had taken you. In this woman's wounded arm, kind of dangling, is the saber she had been carrying, and the two men are there as well, all of them naked, all of them wearing these antler headdresses. They're, for the moment, as they're dragging you away, quiet, and all you hear is every once in a while a bird starts chirping again, as if like peace is returning to the world, even though you're being dragged bloody through the forest. And then you see one of these people dragging you, one of their lips starts moving, and sort of deep, sort of like almost like a if you imagined a clarinet talking, a voice comes out, and it says, "Do we do with this one?" And they continue dragging you along, bumping. "Do we break it?" They continue dragging. And the woman that's carrying you answers, and it's the exact same voice. No, the others made it to the children. Maybe they will leave. Maybe we need this one. And the final one of the men off to the side answers again in the same exact voice. Yes, we keep it with the others. And then they continue pulling you along, bumping, bleeding through the woods. You probably lose consciousness for a short amount of time. So you probably actually don't have any ability to measure that. When you come to, as much as you can, it's hazy and unclear. You're in a clearing in the trees, and sort of near you, you're sort of laid out on the ground. You could hear, probably what actually brings you to is like you have your fine liquors and wine that you had, and they're kind of like bumping, that glass like clinking sound as they've been dragging you through, and you can feel like your bag is sort of wet and smelling of alcohol, and you're there lying in what looks like the remains of ash, and there seems to be what maybe at one time long ago was a fire in the middle of this little clearing. There hasn't been a fire there in who knows how long. And then you start to realize that in amongst this ash and soot and dirt that's making out the forest floor here, there's the bones of small animals just scattered everywhere, like little, all sorts of bones. Just, it's as if many skeletons have just been taken apart and left here. And then you realize hanging and draping from the trees around this clearing, there's the remains of something, of clothes, of some sort of textiles, all sort of like strung up, tied together, and even more bones are hanging from these. Again, of very small animals. You would think maybe of like doves or rabbits, like very small animals, and they're all sort of stretched out along the trees here where you are. And there are a few wooden frames, and it looks like they're worked wood. Like there were poles at one time, and they've been worked and again tied up with torn up linens to make sort of vague, like humanoid figures. There are like 3 or 4 of these. The woman that had been dragging you drops your ankle, and she shudders, and she collapses to the ground, dropping the saber, and she moans like deeply, and is sort of clutching at this arrow sticking out of her shoulder. And then one of the men comes over and is staring at her. And again, there's no emotion in their faces, so he just is staring and kind of like cocks his head to the side. And the voice comes again. Need to fix this one. No good to us like this. And he bends over, closes his fingers around this, target archery arrow stuck in the woman's shoulder, and just yanks it out. Blood spatters across the area, spatters across you. And then, out of this wound that he just pulled this arrow from, you see this dark, olive, brownish liquid start oozing out and kind of like starts dripping down her torso. And this ragged hole starts to shut around the liquid. And the woman falls back onto the forest floor, her chest heaving occasionally as her entire body shudders. And the entire area stinks of wet earth suddenly. Selma, I'm going to need you to make a fear test. You can choose whether to use your wits or your empathy.
I will. I guess I'll go with empathy.
Okay.
So that's just 4 dice.
Yep.
All right. Here goes. Woo!
All right.
Good
Fantastic. So you feel yourself slipping again. Your conscience is going. You're mastering the emotions though. And you see the 2 men turn, and they seem to be leaving the camp. And the same voice comes again as they walk off. And he says, it seems almost like to the other one, but you suspect that that's you sort of projecting that idea onto him. And it just says, maybe they can eat this one. They walk off, and Salma goes unconscious again. Hjalmar.
Yes.
You come running out of the woods. I think probably behind you, you can hear Amadeo and Sven, not too far behind, crashing through the woods. I imagine you're wheezing due to your childhood illness.
He does not have a good lungs at all.
I am going to share a map of the village in our game chat, and hopefully we can get that lit up so other people can see as well.
Flashing up on the stream as well.
Thank you. And so, Hjalmar, you come bursting out of the woods along this trail, and you see that there's a small group of people gathered. The one in the head, the one sort of that seems to be the leader, the one closest to you even, is a pretty large man with sort of graying hair like around the sides. And he's reasonably well dressed for the country. And there are 2 or 3 older men out here as well. One of them has like a like a splitting axe over his shoulder. Another one just seems to be carrying like the first stick that he found, and your first sort of impression as you come out of the woods, you see these men standing here, is that the village itself looks incredibly run down. A number of the sort of buildings here don't look like they've been occupied in quite a while. Or if they are, they're in very bad disrepair. There's one sort of larger home that looks in better shape. And then, like, far at the end of the village, you can see the church, like the stone church, which, amidst everything else, looks in incredibly good repair, as though it were very new. What do you do?
So Emma comes running out of the forest, wheezing and sweating profusely and looking very uncomfortable with himself. And he sort of when he comes up into the clearing, he sort of stops and he stretches out and looks at the people and looks behind him to see if Amadeo is coming up, and he just starts to more or less slowly walk up to these people because he doesn't want to look like a complete idiot.
Yeah. So this man I
he
described.
approaches.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, this man that I described.
Yeah,
that
he
looks
is. I just approached him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "We heard shots. What happened out there? Who are you?"
It's a bit of a lot. I'm Hjalmar Björkman, investigator, but let's talk about that later. I have a friend that's been shot, as in the forest, mostly out of his own foolishness, but we have to save him anyway. So, could you offer...
So Amadeo and Sven, like, you're approaching now. You see Hjalmar speaking with this man.
Yeah, I'm approaching, holding Sven with one arm, and in my other hand, I have my case with all my medicine and tools. And I try to approach the people.
Yeah, and Hjalmar, you see this man sort of looking over your shoulder. He's like, "That one."
Well, that one was shot. We have another one that was abducted, unfortunately, and we have to save her before. Well, I don't know what those things are gonna do to her, but I'm sure you've had experience with them.
You don't want to go back out there.
But they have our colleague. We have to save her.
Well, you'll end up just like her. Like the others. There's another one. We found him a couple days ago.
You found one?
There was another one shot maybe a week ago now. He's in my home. He kind of points at the largest of like the houses that's not the church. And then in the distance from the direction of the church, you can see a man in sort of like black habit running up towards you as well. And he's like, Sven, I sent for these. I think I know who they are. The larger man steps to the side a little with the others. And
risk, I presume. I look at them.
Yeah. And so the priest runs up. He's very young, sort of well kept, in every way. He has like boy band good looks, like sort of like sharp hair and everything like this. He comes running up, and Sven says they're saying one was shot. One of their group. They're out in the woods. Told him that it's insane. They can't go back out there. And the father looks between you three. He says, "You shouldn't have come by the road. I told you in the letter not to come by the road."
I say, well, no matter what, we have an injured man. We need to go somewhere where I can treat him properly. Can we have this conversation somewhere else, please?
Yes. No. Of course. Follow me. It's like the other one, maybe some of the others will go out later, but so soon.
I mean,
too many have been.
we're not saying we should do it now.
So, so he's going to start leading you back toward the church, unless you guys are going to press the point of going back to Selma.
First, I want
Yeah.
to check the injuries of Sven because I did it very quickly. I want to make sure that he's out of risk. And then
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, you're definitely going to want to get him. I mean, I think as a doctor, your first idea would be to get him somewhere much more stable than this, right? Like you think you've done what you could, but yeah.
As a doctor, it's your duty to make sure that I'm seen to.
So, the father leads you away from the others. He's like, "Yeah, follow me," and
follow.
one of the older men, the one that I described with the felling axe, he comes over and he sort of lends a shoulder to help support Sven, and Father Bokvist, as you're walking back toward the church, he says, "You came very quickly, and this is terrible. This shouldn't have happened." And he points out towards the woods, like through the houses, and he's like, "There's a trail over there. We had marked it. I had hoped that. Well, I'm deeply sorry for your friend. Hopefully we find her. There's another one that's in Sven's home, though. The one that I wrote to you about. He's alive, but in bad shape."
Can you bring him also to the church? I think it would be best if I see both patients at the same time. That would probably help me.
Perhaps we can bring you into Sven's house then. I daren't move him.
Okay, I look at Sven. How do you feel? He's conscious, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is actually confusing. Is
yeah,
that
two
there's an
Svens.
NPC
Yeah,
named
yeah.
Sven as well.
Yeah.
Which I shall.
Just stick with it. Stick with it. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's a common name in Sweden at that time. So.
Shit. Yeah.
Is that
What
is that
you
a
just
no?
asked me if I'm. Sorry. What did you say?
No, I'm looking at you, and yeah, sorry. So I look at him. He looks like he's conscious, right? Even when I'm asking him the question, like, "How are you feeling?" He's still with eyes open, and he seems to be on his senses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to you, Matt.
I think I'm still. Like, I should be okay. I've managed.
You're
to,
not broken, so
I've walked back with you to the village, right? On my own 2 feet. I wasn't carried or anything. So
What do you mean? I was carrying you.
I had the impression that you were like kind of propping me up, but I'm still like using my legs, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That's what, because
Yeah,
I wasn't
okay.
broken. I wasn't unconscious. I would be able to move. So yeah, I'm just in a bad way. I need healing, but I'm still standing. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go. Let's go to Sven's house.
Okay. Sven the villager.
Not my
Sven
house.
Sonete.
Sven Fjarherder.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Fjarherder.
All right.
Is that okay?
I have no idea.
Okay, good. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
So they start bringing you toward the villager Sven's house, and yeah, by the standards of the village, again, it's in pretty good repair. It seems to actually have 2 stories, unlike any of the other buildings around here. And behind it, you can see a flock of sheep, sort of out beyond the house, between here and the fields. And the fields, as they are overgrown mostly. The sheep are doing as best they can to sort of keep it down. But if there had ever been any sort of agriculture here beyond the sheepfold, there is no longer. Behind you, you see the fjord, which is like a bay in the river, of the Dal River, and there's as you can see on the map, there's a large sort of forested island, pretty close beyond like some marshes, and so you can kind of all see this as there's like a slight slope up as you head over to Sven's house. Sven accompanies you, as this is sort of agreed that you're going to his house. You go into the front, and again, inside it's not clean, but it's ordered, right? Like this isn't painstakingly taken care of, but everything's sort of it has its place in its place. Um, and you notice over the mantle in this sort of main room, um, there are a couple vases and a couple pictures, and the pictures seem to be of Sven and another woman. Um, and also, you notice like around one of these vases is hanging like a little loop, a key, and um, and Sven brings you through this sort of common room, and he opens a door into a smaller room off to the side. And there, you're immediately struck with like a sort of rotting smell. Um, and there's a man in the bed. His covered in sweat. You can see like there's a little pitcher of water next to him, and it looks like, as best as they can, they've sort of been taking care of him. Um, but yeah, he has one leg that's sort of been covered, and you can see like there's something sort of like oozing through like the blankets coming from the leg, and it's causing like this horrible smell as you go in. And this is the tax assessor, Carl Friesk, who had been picked up off the road sometime before.
So I put Sven down, and I can tell, I guess, that this guy is in worse condition than Sven.
I think so, yeah. And I would say like there's another bed in here. I'm gonna say like there are two like smaller beds, so you can lay Sven down. If Sven, you want to be the if you accept that.
For now, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I put him in the bed, and I'm a bit taken back by this smell that gives me bad feelings. I'm guessing he might have gangrene or something like this. So
Yeah.
I look at Sven and I look at Carl, and I'm torn between what to do in this moment because I feel that they both might need me. But I just want to have a quick look under the cloth and, maybe check with my medical expertise if this is really
Yeah.
an emergency.
So like immediately as you walk in, though, the priest, Bokvist, he just makes like this disgusted gagging sound. He's like, "Oh, please excuse me. This is not my. I'll be in the church if you need anything from me.
Yeah,
please."
It's Hjalmar here.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell the Hjalmar, maybe go with the father and try to find if there is a good tracker in town. We need to find Selma.
We think in similar ways, Doctor. You've got your work cut out here, and I sort of just leave and follow the good priest.
Okay.
See what he's gonna have to say.
So Hjalmar leaves with Father Bokvist. Sven stays near the door, and he looks at you, and he's like, I did everything I could, Doctor. I've never looked at anything like this before. I think the bone is shattered by the bullet. And Amadeo, as you sort of look at this wound, it is definitely gangrenous, and the leg is almost certainly going to have to come off.
Okay. So can I do a quick, so I will prepare myself, but maybe I will try to heal Sven if I can. I don't know if I can do much more for him.
Yeah, there's actually mechanically nothing more you can do.
Okay.
There is ultimately you can restore conditions.
Mhm.
So there are a couple of different ways you do that, and we're going to get back into the instructional side of things for a second. One option is basically you spend a scene with him, and in this case, I think we would call it a sort of like medical. You're sort of tending to him, that sort of thing, and that can just be a scene. So it might last a couple hours where you're just sort of trying to patch him up and things like that. You can recover 2 of his conditions that way.
Mhm.
Also, there's the option to do like a full sort of medicine roll, which can restore more conditions in total. Though I don't think he actually needs that much right now. But that would take you a day, where he needs water, food, things like that. So those are the mechanical options for Sven.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna ask Sven to bring me anything I can think of that I might need to cut his leg and get him in a, save the other man. And while they bring me all this, I guess I will try to have Sven back up as much as I can. Can I do
Okay.
that? I don't know if we have 2 hours. I mean, I guess we have as much as we want, right?
It's it's up to you. So basically, you're gonna prepare to do some emergency surgery here, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So the villager Sven, he's gonna do its best to get you what you need, to take care of the leg, and Sven the character, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps we'll do the surgery first, and then kind of get back to Matt's character. If you want to do it
Sure.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it will take me to do,
Fair.
to cut somebody's leg.
All right.
I guess it's another scene. I don't know.
I mean, it's as quick as you make it, really.
To do it
Do we have a
right.
chainsaw? Just go in.
So
I remember reading that back in old times, the faster was better, actually.
it might be, yeah. You
They
probably
actually
want
often went
to
for quick, yeah.
apply the germ theory of disease and clean your tools and everything first. So
Yeah.
so we will then go back to Hjalmar with Father Bokvist walking outside. And what do you want to do with the Father Bokvist? Because he's just going to walk back to the church. That's where he wants to be. So
By
you
the way,
can
is
interrupt
his
him.
name? I'm used to. Yeah, sorry for that. I was just gonna ask. Like,
Yeah.
is his name also Frisk, right? Is it Book Frisk or Frisk?
Oh, Vist.
Book piece.
Ah,
No?
Sorry.
because I was thinking that Carl Frisk and other guy had the same surname.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No problem there.
Yep.
I just thought they made a.
Yeah, book piece.
All right. So yeah.
Yep.
So I interrupt him as he's going and like.
Yeah.
So these kinds of attacks are not a common occurrence. These parts.
Just no. It started recently, a few weeks ago. Couple travelers were scared off the road. Then we had poor man Frisk in Sven's house. He was the only one who's been seriously hurt so far. But people are afraid. Some of the women had to go back to Uppsala for the factory work. They had to leave by the trail. Everyone's afraid to go out on the roads, and he kind of like gestures around toward the village. He's like, you see, the young people are gone. The men are doing the lumber drives further up the river. The women are gone. Those are the ones that are left. No one dares go through the road, and this is going to get worse. Someone's going to come looking for Frisk sooner or later. And what happens when they come? I had to contact you. And he sort of stops, and you're pretty close to the church now. And he says, my predecessor, I took over here not too long ago. The end of last autumn, and he left me a note to his successor, and really his only clear directions to me were to seek help from the society if strange things start happening, keep the flowers watered. I've done the best I could. And you notice, as he mentions the flowers, that there are these like very beautiful like purple flowers sort of growing out of like window boxes along the sort of sides of the church, which also has a nice little garden next to it. All nice and neat and in order, unlike everything else around.
I'm actually connection is unstable. I'm actually gonna ask him. I make conversation with him for a while.
Mhm.
I'll say, like, asking him about the village and blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But at some point, I will drop the question that the church. Well, let's do this in character. the church looks like it is considerably more well kept and maintained than the rest of the village. Although not totally unusual, this is quite remarkable. Is the church newly constructed, or what's the
This is-
story here? It look
Yeah, I think the church is maybe 10 years old, but we've always kept it in good condition, and I like to think that I've done my part to keep it clean and tidy. Is a home for the villagers, as a place of refuge for their souls, right? We have to be examples in these trying times, especially.
That's admirable. But why the construction of the new church? Most of these villages have churches that are hundreds of years old.
And
Is
he
it
kind
burned
of
down or some unfortunate event?
and he kind of smiles at you strangely. He's like, I don't know how these things get prioritized. It's far above me.
When he says that, does that look like? Does he look a little bit like he's trying to hide something there? Because a 10-year-old church in a village that looks like this, that it looks this good, is definitely suspicious. So,
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to mine him for information here.
Yeah. I would say that you could roll for it.
I will roll for it. That's observation, right?
I believe so. Which I'm very confused about because observation is different in Coriolis, which I was playing last night.
Is it observation or vigilance? I have
No, this
been
is
very
observation. This is definitely
confused about
observation. Yep.
it. Yep. I'll roll then.
All right.
I look for signs of him looking like stressed or unnerved or disliking the question, especially.
Sure.
Six. Come on. Oh yeah, stupid old me.
Oh, RV instead of VR.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
There we go. 3
Wow.
successes.
Do you want to
Okay.
push that?
No.
Does he
I
need
have
to
no
push that?
interest in pushing it.
Okay. So here's what you learn with that. So he seems genuine in that he has no idea how these things are decided. He does seem not just uncomfortable that someone was just shot, but yeah, you do get the hint that there's something that he's uncomfortable about generally. Which is like it doesn't seem to be related maybe to what you're investigating, but yeah, he does seem a little evasive in some ways. Like something is making
I find
him...
it interesting that the priest is that uncomfortable about corpses. They usually see a lot of them. But he's new as well, so who knows?
the child.
Really trying to read this priest. I mean, it's probably not the guy who wrote the letter, but you know, who knows? So yeah. In that case, yes, I had another question because I was leaving that topic for a moment. The doctor asked if there's anyone who has, if there's anything even close to some sort of chemist or any drug store or anything, someone who stores that in the village of any kind.
No, I'm afraid not. There's not much left here. Please come with me, and he's gonna try and lead you into the church.
All right, I'll follow.
So you go inside. The church itself is again inside. It's sort of immaculately kept. There are just like a number of like a really nice like hardwood like pews. Like there's like 5 or 6 pair like leading up toward a sort of pulpit. There are a couple windows on each side, and there are some like rooms that go around the exterior of this sort of main hall of the church. So there's sort of like a door on the far side behind the pulpit, and another two doors in the, we'll call it the left wall as you walk in. They're further on down, and you can see where sort of like there's sort of empty space as you first come in, like the stone floor is sort of bare, and he sort of gestures toward it and he says, I know I offered to keep you when you came, and I wasn't expecting you quite so quick. I have some. We're going to gather some hay and set some beds here. I hope your friend is okay. The one in Sven's house. Can I get you anything to eat or anything like that?
I can definitely eat, and I'm sure Sven will approve of some food served to him soon.
Of course, yeah. I have some bread. And so he goes, and he walks sort of, again, I mentioned there are two doors along the left wall. He goes to the furthest one. We'll go through there, and you hear him sort of busying himself with something. So we're going to skip back to Selma. Selma, you come to. You can remove your broken condition.
All right.
Just before you get eaten.
You are lying on the ground in this soot, sort of just as I described to you, as the others left. You can hear the sort of ragged breathing, like a, like an inhalation, like a, and then it comes out very sort of thing of this woman that had dragged you here. From where you're lying, you're just staring up at the tree branches, the beautiful sunny sky above. Everything else is quiet except for the sounds of the forest. What are you going to do?
So first I'll get up on like one elbow, trying to lift myself up and look around.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see anyone else besides me and this woman?
No, you only see her lying on the ground.
She's just lying on the ground, breathing hard.
Yeah, she's kind of like on one shoulder, like the unwounded shoulder. She's sort of lying on the unwounded shoulder. She has the saber next to her. And yeah, that's it. You don't see anyone else around at this moment.
So does she look conscious? Does she look?
No.
All right. I'm gonna stand up if I can.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I'll do is probably I'll stand up. Selma's inquisitive, so she's not going to immediately leave this place where her life is in danger.
Right.
I'll definitely look around a little bit. I'll probably prod this woman with a stick if I find one to see if she reacts in any way whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely find a stick. You can take apart one of these little figurines if you want to, and that would be a stick.
Before I do that, I'll kick away the sword that she had lying next to her.
Ah, so it's in her hand, like she's gripping it.
Oh, it's in her hand. I will not poke her.
Yeah.
I will try to. I saw this brown thing ooze out of her.
Yeah.
It didn't ooze back in. It just oozed out.
No, and in fact, because it's the sort of, or had been the wounded shoulder that's up above, you can see, like it's kind of like all caked around where the wound was. It's like this brownish olive like substance. It's sort of dried on over where the wound was.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. So definitely unconscious.
And yeah, and as you're sort of surveying this and watching her, you see a dove come like fluttering into the clearing, and it sort of perches up on like one of these cables, well, for lack of a better word, where like all these little bones are hung and stuff, and they sort of rattle just gently. And this dove is just staring at you.
Okay. So the first thing I'll do is reach into my backpack and
Okay.
take out my fine wine and take a big swig of it.
So you reach in, and I think
no.
you realize as you're reaching in that the bottles have all broken. Like it's a mess of shards of glass and yeah, what liquid remains is mostly part of your bag now.
In that case, I reach in and take out an improvised weapon.
Yeah.
Broken glass. Yes.
Very okay.
I can hold it from the-
gingerly. So as not to cut yourself. Like you can get like a shard of glass. I mean, it's not gonna be very big, I think.
Like
but-
I'm hoping, like for example, the top of the bottle is like preserved.
Yes.
And
yes.
then I can hold that.
Perfect.
Kind of-
Yeah. You find one of the necks of the wine bottle. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I've got Selma already has some theories, so she's going to put one foot on top of the sword, of the blade of the sword,
Okay.
and try to, with the other one, while holding the bottle, try to kind of kick the woman away, like at the armpit, try to like make her release the sword.
Okay. So you put your foot on the sword blade. As soon as you do that, her eyes open. And she looks up at you. And she just lets out this whoop, whoop.
I begin running. No, wait.
Yeah.
I smack her in the head with the bottle.
Okay.
or whatever, and then I begin running.
All right.
Assuming I don't have to engage with her. Like, if I see the slightest moment of resistance, I just run.
Okay. Yeah. If you actually tried to assault her with the bottle, we would be drawing initiative. But you can
then
take
I
the
run.
moment to just run.
Like
Definitely.
what I want to do is maybe drop my backpack or like do anything to slow her down. Like
Right.
not engage in her. Like drop my backpack with all the broken glass and the liquid right on top of her head and just run.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is, because this is a flee roll, because you're doing this, you're throwing your bag, the glass, everything. I'm going to give you 2 extra dice.
Okay, so that's 2 dice then.
I think so.
Yeah. So now we see Selma die again because of her curiosity.
This is an agility
I'm
roll,
sorry.
right?
Unfortunately,
Fleas and
that may
agility
be
roll,
how
right?
this plays out.
That's all right. That's on me. Here we go. RV2D. Come on. Oh no!
Oh well.
Oh no.
Oops.
Yeah. Again, you could push that and break yourself and try to escape.
mean- What happens if I fail that? I mean, I get attacked and I
Yeah.
get broken anyway.
Stefan, you already had a condition, right? You got shot too, no? One or two times
Yeah, I think I got shot.
before.
Had I suffered a critical? I can't remember that. Oh no, because I broke myself
No,
out of my
yeah,
own
you did
volition.
not. You did not
Yeah.
suffer a critical. So, are you going to
Okay.
keep that result?
I'll try push it. Let's see what happens.
We've got all 3 physical conditions ticked, right?
Mhm.
You will
Yeah.
be broken again,
I mean, but the alternative is I get attacked and broken anyway.
perhaps.
Perhaps.
I mean, not
Okay, I'll-
necessarily immediately, so you could have
Yeah.
other chances.
I will go with that. Perhaps.
Okay. All right. In that case, she gets up. She's going to be chasing after you. So you're not going to be able to escape this time. She
All right.
catches up to you. Now, I am drawing initiative for you.
All right.
So you have.
Is that good or bad? I forget.
She has.
Oh.
So, you can try and escape again.
I will actually, given the fact that what am I going to draw? 2 dice again?
Yeah, I think so. Not even that. It would be 1, I think.
Ah,
You're in pretty
Yeah.
bad shape.
I am. Instead, I will try to talk my way out of this.
Okay.
Come on.
I will, Selma will stop, raise her hands, and says, wait, I know what's going on. I heard you're hurt. I know a doctor. We can fix you. I could lure him here for you guys to take him, and he could fix you.
Mm.
As I described previously when Sabine tried to talk with these, there's nothing there. There's no... Yeah.
I'm not going for pity. I'm going for logic.
I understand. All the same, she's going to try and cut you down.
In the chat, it said that you didn't say please.
Very important. Even my kids know that.
Well, Selma has to learn it the hard way.
Yeah. Selma, you are hit.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
I need you to roll for a critical injury.
All right.
Oh dear.
That's just our D66, right?
Yeah.
Or the 2D6. What's the same? I'm not sure. Here goes. 25. That doesn't sound
That's not
bad.
so bad.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, the
that?
lower the better. So,
What is 25?
do
Don't
one
tell
of
me.
us to look it up?
I will look right now.
Charming scar.
25. It
You
is
wish.
a facial injury.
No. Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Your defect is a deformed face, manipulation -1.
No, the only thing I'm good at.
Yeah, so yeah, she swings at you. The
Wow.
blade catches you across the face, and I think you just go down.
That
And
sounds reasonable.
to the extent you were conscious, you are no longer. Okay. So,
How many
Amadeo.
criticals can you sustain? When
Sorry?
do you die actually in this game? Just curiosity.
So, if this person wanted to, she could just kill her right now.
Okay.
Or if she had suffered a critical injury,
Mm-hmm.
that is bad enough, it can be lethal, and it has a time limit, at which point it's lethal.
Okay.
This is not going to kill her
Mm-hmm.
by itself. That doesn't mean she's not going to die. So,
Yet.
Selma Soup, the best in town.
okay.
Okay.
Amadeo, you, as best they can, they brought you what you need to sort of attend to Carl Frisk. You can make a medicine roll. I'm going to say that because this has not been properly taken care of at this point, it's going to be slightly more difficult. So I'm just going to give you -1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be my precision plus my medicine,
Yeah.
which would be 6 -1, 5.
Right. And does your doctor's bag add anything, or is it just allow you to do it?
Good point. I forgot about that. Well, I have a bonus of 2, but I don't know. Okay, I need to check that. I don't know if it's 2 extra dice or I needed to
Yep,
do anything.
2 extra dice, exactly. So
So that would be
it'd
7.
Yep.
In the meantime, before I start this, I will tell Sven. I'm so sorry, Sven, but I think Carl here is in worse condition than you. I might have to delay your treatment until I can get this poor man properly fixed. Are you gonna be all right? Do you want me to give you any drugs for your pain?
Matt?
Oh, sorry.
Sven?
I'm talking about you, Sven.
Yeah.
He's just thinking
Not the
about
other
it.
Oh,
Sven.
God.
Drugs are not
Maybe
like
it's already drugged. Who knows?
a good question.
Yeah, drugs would be great. Drugs would be great.
So I will give him. I guess I have morphine.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, you have a doctor's bag. You got some stuff in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give him something, and then that before I start the operation.
Yeah. Carl's out. I mean, if he's with us, he's not with us very much. And yeah, go ahead.
Well,
and
I still I'll do my best, and I will clean the wound while they're bringing me all the towels, and I guess with probably using liquor or whatever antiseptic I have with me, and
Yeah.
then I will ask probably the other Sven to hold him down just in case he awakes.
Yep.
I will probably put something on his mouth to avoid
yeah,
beating his tongue off or something like
probably
that.
a peg to
Yeah.
put down around his tongue.
And try
yeah.
to tie him down to bed if I can.
Yep.
And then we'll take it this one. Yeah.
And it will be below the knee. So
Yeah, and I will put something to cover my clothes. I don't want to get dirty.
Okay.
At the end of the day, also need to look pretty. Okay, 76. Did I roll something bad?
You rolled a
You rolled-
success.
Yeah. You need to do the RV,
Okay.
remember?
Oh.
And you do RV and then D7 or 7D.
so
7D.
Sorry
anyway.
about that.
Oh, all good.
So he has radiation poisoning in his leg. But aside from that, you take off the leg below the knee. Sure enough, like at some point during this, like some animal instinct takes over, and he's crashing, but it's over pretty quick, and then he's out again. I imagine with your successful treatment, you do whatever you can to make sure that he goes out sort of comfortably. He's asleep at the end of it, and the lower part of his leg is gone. Sven takes it from you.
Not
brings it
this
out.
Sven.
Not the PC Sven. I'm so sorry. I should have foreseen this. Anyway, so yes, you've taken care of that, and you think maybe in a few hours he might be able to speak, but he's out for now.
Okay, so I just want to go out to take some air. I think
Yeah.
after doing this.
Yeah.
And I guess Matt's character probably went out too.
I mean, you've given me morphine, right? So
Yeah.
I imagine I'm just crashing right now.
Yeah. And so Matt, how is your Sven taking this guy losing his leg, morphine or not? I mean, did you sleep through it or?
No, I'd probably be watching in fascination. I imagine. And yeah, I think the morphine would have taken the edge off of any, the kind of horrific element of it a little bit. Yeah. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think I'd be too squeamish about it necessarily. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if the morphine wasn't there, maybe I would, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this all will take a little while, and while this has all been going on. But at the end of it, Sven, you can restore 2 of your conditions.
All right, okay.
We'll count this as a scene you've done together, as much as you were present.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go back to Hjalmar now. So I think the father is leading you back towards Sven's house. He has like a the little wicker basket, like a nice little like blanket over it, whatever the hell it is, like a little cloth, and there's like some bread sticking out the side, and so he brings you back, like to have snacks with your comrades, and as you get closer, you see Sven the villager coming out of the house with a leg, like the lower part of a leg, chopped, bloody, disgusting looking, and sort of doesn't seem to know what to do with it. There's a bit of like a midden, like a little trash heap, and he just kind of chucks it on there. And he turns, looking at the both of you, looking somewhat pale. And he sees the father carrying the food. And it's done.
I imagine so, considering the leg. But did it go well?
I have to ask the doctor.
All right. Well, at least it's gone.
So, as you're having this conversation, you notice that all around you, like I described the previous day, had been sort of very hot, very dry. And now, like, you smell the smell of wet earth, like, everywhere. And to your left, Hjalmar, coming in from the river, you can see, like, this dense fog start roll through the village, like, very quickly approaching you. Fog, like, where at the ground, you just can't see through it. And the top, like maybe at shoulder level, you can only just start to make through. And this fog rolls right by you. This chill sort of descends. And
Well, yeah, Hjalmar is gonna connect the dots of this being pretty weird and hurry towards Amadeo and Sven in the cabin, and inform them of this.
yeah. I mean, so you're all
Well, I'm
together.
stepping out. Yeah, well, I'm stepping out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys are coming out a little bit after. So yeah, Amadeo comes out. And Amadeo, you see this as the mist, like as you open the door, like the mist is there. You see Father Bokvist, Hjalmar, and Sven the villager.
Okay, so I guess I'm a little bit bloody, but I look at them. I look at Hjalmar and I'm like, "Did you discover anything?" Very direct. I go for him.
Not that much. The church is in surprisingly good condition, but this fog seems mighty suspicious.
Fog is fog. What I'm wondering is
Fog is
like,
fog.
what I'm wondering is like, did you find anybody that could help us going to
No,
the
there's
forest
no
to
one around.
look for Selma? Nobody
I
around.
didn't. The priest wanted to show me the church. I haven't been able to find any foresters yet.
So I look at
Might have
Father.
misheard what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I didn't. I was not talking about drugs. I was talking about tracker.
Ah.
Good point.
Oh well. I was stressed. Sorry about that.
Right. So I look at Father Bokvist and I'm like, "Excuse me, Father.
Yeah.
Carl will survive probably, or at least he will be able to wake up maybe in a few hours, maybe tomorrow. I don't know."
He does a little cross.
Yeah, I did what I could. I could not leave him like that. But something bothers me. You know,
What?
we left somebody behind, somebody who was brave to save one of us. And I kind of wonder, you have ships here. Surely you have somebody that could help us and knows very well this forest. You probably walk these ships around and take them around. We need to find our friend Selma as soon as possible. What time is it actually?
It's sort of mid-morning now. Now it's probably getting close to noon.
Okay.
Yeah. And the father is well. You saw who came when we heard the shots. Perhaps you could get some of them to go with you to the road. Your friend is on the road, but I don't know that anyone's going to go into the woods. It's you know as well as any know what's out there.
Well, I just saw two people with muskets. Don't you have any firearms in this town? Are you telling me you cannot defend yourselves?
Can I Can I choose at that moment to come stumbling out of the
Of course,
house
absolutely.
holding the pistol in my hand?
Yes.
Wow.
Wait, take that pistol off him. He's obviously drugged.
I'm not like waving around at people. I'm just like I'm kind of stumbling out a little bit out of it,
I
and
know.
I'm holding the pistol in my hand. And then I just want to hear that last thing that Amadeo just said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then
You-
I'll wave it in the priest's face and say, "We've got a firearm right here."
Speaking
and,
of that, Sven, could I get it back now?
Ah, yes. I'll hand it to Hjalmar. Where's my
Thank
bow?
you very much.
And I think at that, Sven sort of looks between you, and he sort of like pats this little bulge that perhaps he hadn't seen, like sort of in his breast, and says, "I can go with you. I'll look along the road, but we can't go in the woods."
You cannot go into the woods? That's what you're telling me?
No,
Why not?
you saw why not.
Fine.
You, look, and he kind of gestures at your gut.
There are
Sven.
only 3 of them. I shot one with my bow. That means there's only 2. How many of us are there now? We know what's there. Don't be a coward.
Why are you
Yes.
so afraid of this? I mean, I don't understand. They're
Didn't
just
you-
people.
Didn't you summon us here to put a stop to this? We need your numbers.
Okay,
And then
so
under my
this
breath,
definitely
"Damn.
sounds like a manipulation roll.
Damned peasant.
Yes.
I'm absolutely saying that too. Like,
Yes.
I know that's probably
Yeah.
putting me in the.
So Bachvis looks pretty uncomfortable. Sven, if anything, looks a bit chastised. Yeah, you can roll a manipulation,
Okay, that's 4 dice for me. So
and you can add help. I think from.
Well, I
Amadeo.
was, in a way, I was, yeah. Do I need
Yeah.
to roll too, right?
Nope, just.
no, I just get a dice from you. What about
okay.
Hjalmar? Are you gonna
Well-
be helping me with this?
Yeah, I would probably chime in with something like, "Yeah, come on now."
Bolstering the
All
troops,
right.
shaming them into not doing their
2 help
You must
dice.
defend
feudal
your homes.
duty. So I'm rolling 6 dice. That's 4 for my skill level plus attribute plus the 2 help. God
Oops.
damn
Realize
it!
now.
I'm
it
definitely
would've been
pushing
better
that.
to let Sven be captured and Selma rally the villagers.
All right.
Yes.
You're pushing that.
I pushed that.
Excellent.
I pushed that. So I'm taking one. I'm gonna take one, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Angry,
mental
yeah.
condition.
Mental
Are
condition.
you angry, frightened, or
I'm
hopeless?
definitely angry.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah. So Sven says, "All right, we'll find your friend. We'll do our best. I'll get the others." And so he gathers up and returns not long after with the sort of 2 other men, older men, had met you when you first entered the village. Is there anything else? Anything you guys want to do while he's gathering them?
Yeah, I ask anybody, maybe him or somebody else, if I can have an axe. Do they have a chopping axe that they can take?
So one of the so like when they come back, like one of the old men like has like this sort of wood splitting axe. That's kind of what he's bringing as his contribution.
Okay, well, I take it. If he's not coming, at least I will take
Oh, he's
the axe.
coming. Yeah.
Oh, okay, then.
No, so these 2 old men and Sven are going to join you for your expedition into the woods.
All right. I'm
Um,
bringing my bow naturally as well.
I thought you dropped it.
What are they bringing?
Did I drop
by
it?
The way?
Oh, God damn it!
I think you said you had dropped it.
Then I'm gonna turn to Hjalmar and I'll be like, "What did you want? What did you want the pistol for?"
Well, I thought you would have had the bow with you, but seeing as
Oh, I thought you
fine,
just wanted
and
to
I
examine it.
toss
No.
back. I toss it back to you.
So as you're having this sort of conversation, Sven the villager, like kind of seems to notice for the first time, Sven the PC, that you have this sort of quiver of like little target arrows, and sort of at your hip, and he give me a moment. This is your extra success, by the way. And he sort of goes back inside and comes out a few minutes later with a proper bow, one with a bit of weight to it, which may be too much. I don't know, but he hands it over to you. He's like, "This, if you're doing that, then this is a better way to go. I've taken down deer with it."
Ah, excellent. Almost to the quality of the one that I had to leave behind, but it'll do in a pinch.
Well, in that case, toss me back the goddamn
Yeah.
pistol, Sven.
You can
I
have
don't
this.
want to repeat that situation again.
Yep,
Okay.
I'll give you a wink.
that-
And in fact, just as I'm handing it to you, I'd like to try and, as you're touching it, I'd like it to like magically change into my dove.
And you do that,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
So you're
And
literally
Father
grabbing my.
Bocus is like, amazing.
It's not just the Vaesen who know tricks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm
and-
being gutted alive. Like,
and everyone looks incredibly uncomfortable at this whole situation. Okay, and I imagine you go back to the scene of the crime, as it were.
Yeah, is the father coming with us?
The father is not coming with you.
Okay. So on my way there, I will try to talk with Sven, the
Mhm.
NPC,
Yep.
about when this happened, when they appear, these, musket-bearing humans or whatever they are.
He says, "Yeah." So you start heading back, and sorry, one moment, just checking my notes.
I will take my doctor's bag too, just in case.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Definitely. Yeah. So this is it started a couple weeks ago. I don't know what the father told you. And it's strange. You said that you were attacked by people.
Precisely. Wearing antlers in their heads,
Right.
but they were humans, as far as he could tell. They were naked.
What?
And I'm a doctor, so I'm quite positive that they were humans.
And so you're kind of walking down sort of this path. You're back sort of into the forest, following this road, and he says, it's strange you say that. A couple of weeks ago, before all this started, before the men left for the log drives, a group of mercenaries came. They were looking for recruits for the war on the continent, and they were camped out in the woods here. And he sort of like points off to like one side of the road into the woods. He's like, we could see their fire at night, and imagine they just moved on. But if you're saying they're people with, yeah, maybe there's something to that. But why? Naked?
Yeah, like that. With some antlers on their heads. I feel that they were just disguised somehow, just to feel more fearful, I guess, and to scare you and others.
Maybe. Strangest thing I've ever heard.
What did you exactly see? Can you describe what you saw?
About the mercenaries or the camp.
You never saw these musket-bearing people?
No.
So
we
because
when Frisk was shot, we heard the shots from the village. We came out to investigate the road, and he kind of gestures down the road as you're doing now. And we found him there. He was yelling out someone else's name. I can't remember now what the name was. And There's no one else here. We just found him by himself. It was quiet, but we didn't hang around either.
And he never spoke because in the letter from the priest, I quite remember that he was mentioning fairies with muskets.
I mean, he was talking about screeching and whooping from the woods that they were being attacked. He didn't say anything about naked people in the woods, and maybe he never saw them. I don't know. And so, as you're saying this, you come to the point in the road where now a couple groups have been attacked where this, and yeah, so you're back at the scene of where Sven the PC was shot, and looking about you, the entire group, you don't see Salma, but off. Well, no, because it's super foggy. So, yeah.
Okay, I ask everyone, please look around. We need to find something so we can follow some tracks. I'm sure there must be tracks or something that we can follow. I try to look. I mean, do I see the photography machine, the camera?
The camera.
Oh,
I mean, so
Spain,
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
I would say that the three of you roughly know the direction in which Selma ran, right? So you head that way, and it's not long. Looking through the fog, it's difficult, but you do find the camera, and I would say that like you find like the blood trail.
Okay, here, blood and the camera for Selma. We're on the right path. We need to follow this. Onward.
Okay. So yeah,
To motivate everyone to follow.
Yeah. So you find this blood trail. Do any of you do anything else, or are you just going to follow this trail?
I would just see if the camera was hurt or harmed in any way, and just prop it up against the tree or something.
Okay.
Because Selma would be very sad if it was broken.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably familiar with photography. So you think the camera's okay. You prop it up.
I try to see if there are different tracks. I don't know. I need observation for that. You know, if I see just a blood trail or if I see, naked feet.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not sure that you're seeing, like, you can see where people have moved through, but it's not like dirt you're looking through, right? It's like kind of like leaves. It's like forest floor, right? So you're not going to get footprints necessarily in all places. Though I think if you follow the track long enough, you might get a couple. And so following this blood track, yeah, you do in a couple places see sort of where bare feet have left an imprint.
Point.
Probably.
Elmar, look at this.
Pretty recently.
Yalma would look at them and probably ascertain that they are human footprints, unless there's something else.
I'll come up behind you and say, "What have you found? What have you found?"
Look, I can see their feet. It must be the naked people. Sure that does. I'm not very good at tracking. I'm hoping you can help me follow the trail. I just can see the blood of Selma.
I mean, sure, we can follow them. I should probably be able to. And I bring out my magnifying glass.
All right. Absolutely, yeah, and you're able to follow this trail. It's not very hard to find. It's pretty fresh. I mean, fog or no fog, it's there, and you follow it, and you keep going until you're pretty sure you're getting actually pretty close to the river now, and there's a bit of a rise, like a small like wooded hill. There's like a clearing of trees. And you can all see, like, sort of as I described to Salma earlier, like this like netting or between the trees where like these little bones and things are hanging, and you see Salma just sort of laid out in the middle of it with this looking bloodied, right? And other than that, it's now completely quiet. As I had said, there's this deep mist everywhere. The birds are gone, and you just see like this strange clearing with all these bones and things and tattered bits of cloth, and Salma just lying in the middle of.
I just look about me like, okay, but then realizing that Selma might be hurt, I just go running, open my medical bag, and start examining her. I don't care about the rest anymore.
Amadeus, stop. This could be a trap.
I don't care, man. Elmar, look at Selma. And I guess I can see that she has an injury.
Yeah. I mean, as you get closer, you would see that there's this like terrible cut, like that. It's probably. We don't know if this is a permanent defect yet, but it's not entirely sure at the moment whether all her nose is there. At the very least, there's a cut going down, like her forehead, we'll say.
Tyrion Lannister wound, eh?
I just basically look behind me and say, Helmer, I can't leave her there.
I'm not saying leave her. Just give it a moment. And Yalma sort of looks out. Is there like any sign of movement or anything at all, or is it just completely dead?
Yeah. So you're gonna kind of be keeping watch, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yalma will be keeping a very very tight watch of the area, and like say, Amadeo, you can check it out.
Fine.
Then, by the way, what are the rest of these? Because you said that one of these fellows has a felling axe of some sort, but are the others in the hunting rifles, or is it this axes?
No, Sven the NPC has a pistol that he's holding. As I said, one of them has like a chair leg, and another one has a sort of felling axe. And they're kind of hanging back as they see this sight, kind of following you, sort of murmuring to each other. Yeah.
All right.
But they are definitely letting you take the lead here. All
right.
Sven the PC, what are you doing in this?
I've got my bow, this new bow drawn. By the way, is this stats wise like a longbow?
Yes.
So I've got that ready. I've got an arrow knocked, and I imagine I'm just kind of like slightly crouched, like looking around, like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to be shot again. And there's thick fog. We can see Selma, but we can't see anyone else. I'm just like, we're not being particularly quiet. So I'm just trying to keep my eyes open and be ready for an ambush. I might position myself a little bit far away from, not too close to Amadeo and Hjalmar while they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's. I wouldn't have gone up to Amadeo at the thing. I've said that with a slightly, not at all a scream or anything like that, but with a slightly higher voice, especially the stop thing, that I did. But so I would be keeping my distance and sort of try to keep such sort of a skirmishing formation, just sort of try to get closer to Selma to have a look, but at the same time I'm smelling a trap, or Yalma is. So I think we're all keeping back a little bit.
We're all sensing that at the moment.
So Amadeo, you approach Selma.
Mm-hmm.
She's alive, as I described. I mean, she's wounded, like she has this terrible cut across her face. You can sort of do your magic if you like, and try and get her up.
Amadeo, drag her back. You can't leave her lying there in the.
I mean, is she bleeding or anything?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Hjalmar, let me do my thing. Don't bother. And then I just concentrate on her.
I'm just saying you're just in the open at the minute, but all right, go ahead, get shot if you want to.
I'll just go for it. So
okay.
I roll medicine, precision, plus medicine, plus my bag, I guess.
And your doctor bag, absolutely.
Yeah. So that would be 4 + 2 + 2, 8.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm happy I rolled randomly a doctor, honestly. It's been very useful. This.
It has been incredibly. Oh my god.
Yes,
Okay.
3 successes.
Do you want to push that?
For what?
You could just like get her 100% right now.
Push it.
But no, what happens if I push? Let me check. Do I get angry, frightened, hopeless? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah, it's fine. It's 3. It's good enough.
It's very
Great.
good.
Still means that Selma, you'll be able to restore 2. I mean, you're no longer broken, and you can restore 2 other physical conditions. You're working on that, Amadeo. Matt, I need you to make an observation test.
Okay. Observation for me is empathy currently 2, observation 2, so 4 dice.
Okay. You want to push that?
I don't think I want to push that. I've already got 1
Okay.
mental condition.
Okay.
No, we'll leave it.
All right. Matt, I am going to send you a message.
Whoopsie.
In Discord, yeah?
Wouldn't that be vigilance? Sorry.
No.
I think he knows what he's doing.
Oh, okay,
No.
sorry.
In this case, it's
Sorry,
definitely
sorry.
observation.
All right. Secret stuff. Oh no.
Oh no, we see that weird smile on Matt's face.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Shall I make a roll?
It depends on how you want to react to that. Like, eventually, yes. But tell me how you're doing it and what. Yeah.
I mean, I'm tense, right? It's a tense situation. I'm expecting something bad to happen. I don't necessarily trust the villagers. So I'm kind of in a weird place in my head, I guess. The morphine is probably still knocking around my system a little bit, not making me think too clearly. So yeah, I think I'm not at my peak, you know. Susceptible to influence, shall we say.
Things.
So I don't know. If you want me to make some sort of a willpower roll, somehow I don't really know how we would do that in this system.
You already did.
Right, gotcha. Then yeah, let's throw the dice. What's the phrase? Like, let's see let the chips fall where they may, or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll that?
Yeah, 2.
All right. So I just gotta very quickly work out what I'm rolling without saying it to everyone else.
This is the end. My only friend.
I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
Well, so yeah, that means 3 in total.
Okay. Narrate that.
So so Hjalmar and Amadeo, you can see me kind of just scanning around, like with my bow drawn, very tense. And then you see my head kind of twitch slightly. And then I kind of turning, I look back at the two of you. And then in one smooth motion, I just pull my longbow back and shoot an arrow straight into Amadeo for 3 damage, which is basically going to be one damage away from being broken.
Yay.
So Salma, you're sort of coming to, I think, and you see Amadeo over you, tending to you, and then he's shot. Let's now do our initiative because
What the-
PvP.
this has become PvP.
And you've got a lot of NPCs to juggle as well.
I do. It's
See.
okay though.
I mean, I side with Sven. I stab Amadeo. I don't know.
Matt, because you act surprisingly, I drew 2 cards for you.
Okay.
So 3. This is the better of the 2.
Okay.
I am going to now draw for everyone else. Amadeo,
Do I get a chance to kind of try and shake this off at all?
No, well, that makes sense. Like, that's serious.
you
Yeah.
will.
Okay. All right.
Kalmar,
Uh-huh.
that's a
9, no?
that's a 6.
No?
I held it wrong. This looks familiar, doesn't it, Matt?
Yep.
And Selma.
So I was able to pull Selma up, basically, to...
Yes,
her
yeah.
enough.
So her conditions are recovered. You are working on that. She comes to as you're shot.
Why? And to Brutus!
So the villagers behind Sven, the NPC, sees Sven, the PC, shoot Amadeo, and Sven, the NPC, goes to tackle Sven, the NPC, or the PC. So, yeah, he charges forward with the other 2 villagers, like, get him! He yells out as he rushes forward, and oh damn, he's a strapping man. Okay.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, he just launches himself at you. Do you try and defend yourself?
I'd like to think I'm not really paying attention to him at the moment.
I think so.
So
Yeah,
I'm happy to be blindsided a bit.
Yeah, he grabs you, throws you to the floor, and starts pulling like the bow out of your fingers, and like his hand kind of grabs you like around the shirt, and he's just shaking you, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Red rum.
So you're actually next, Matt.
Hmm.
You can make another observation test. I'd say in the situation, like you have this person shaking you.
Will that help?
Sven
Maybe?
is on top of you. You can make your observation test again
Okay.
with
So-
help. Add a help die for that.
Add 1 health die. Okay, so that's 2
Yep.
plus 2 plus 1. God damn. it. I'm assuming I don't
can-
really want to
you-
push. I don't really want to push. I think at this stage.
Okay. All right.
Maybe, oh, actually, no. Actually, it makes sense to push. It makes sense to push.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you have this
There we
moment
go.
of trying to, yeah.
So I'm gonna take the frightened condition. I think that makes a lot of
Okay.
sense here. As I've just basically, I don't know what the fuck was going on in my head, and yeah, that was very weird. So I'm frightened.
And you get the success, right?
I got 1 success. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Like you, the next thing you know, Sven, you had been standing there. Amadeo had been working on Selma. Now you're on the ground. Sven, the NPC, is shaking you, like spitting in your face, like yelling, "What are you doing?" And yeah, I'm not putting away the initiative cards again for a moment. How are you reacting?
But me?
Yeah.
Just sputtering, really, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, frightened, and kind of eyes are wide. Did I really just shoot Amadeo? And I look over to him.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
you go, guys. This is all you know. The villagers are here. Sven is sort of kind of letting you go, but
Duh.
You know, he's still kind of like on top of you with like a knee,
Doesn't
kind of like pressed against your chest.
I'm
Did-
just
I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. There's something got into my head. We need to be careful. Does anybody have a tinfoil hat?
I'm just there, like laying on, well, not laying, but on one knee, probably, like, you know, trying to hold myself together. And like, what did you do, man? What is the meaning of this?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. There's something here, influencing me.
What do you mean? I don't see anything, man.
We can't see anything in this
Probably not
fog.
radiating hand.
There's something.
There was something here. There must have been something.
I'm-
Describe what happened.
Amadeo, you know
I'm
I
listening.
wouldn't do that.
But I hope not.
That's out of character. That laugh.
And I start, well, I start looking into, you know, in the meantime, when I try to look at myself if I can do something for me. I mean, try to pull out the arrow. Does it go all the way, or I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
it's pretty battle.
Yeah, I mean-
considering, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Yalma also has heal, so he would or medicine, so he would go up to Amadeo and sort of help him with removing the arrow after he's done screaming at Sven.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Hjalmar, I mean, you see this. Perhaps you think that here in the forest clearing might not be the best place to do too much of this.
Yeah.
You can. I'm obviously not going to stop you. But yeah, he's not critically wounded. Like, he was shot, but I mean, he's not dying. He's wounded.
I will just put some pressure and say, okay, let's get out of here now that we have Selma. Sven. With us.
You'll just have to buy Amadeo a drink later. Let's get the hell out of here.
It's not funny, Yalmar.
Yeah, and so Sven, the villager, is, you know, kind of like, he's like, we need to leave here. We shouldn't have come out here.
Look at Selma. Yeah.
We
And
found
I
our
look
we
at
found our friend though. Look, and look, they're not attacking us. We have strength in numbers. They're intelligent, I think, even though they're somehow able to influence me. Does anybody have a crucifix?
Out in the
Well,
distance.
let's wait for the church on that one.
None of
Nobody's
these
got,
people
like,
have a crucifix.
Not like a necklace thing.
Yeah, and
I'll cross
through
myself.
through the fog, you can start to hear in the distance again whooping,
Oh shit!
Yeah, hush,
Alright.
let's go.
and like the
Let's get out of
villagers
here.
take off. Yeah,
They take off.
Um,
Okay, what direction?
yeah. No, they're running. They're not waiting for you now. They're leaving.
Well, I still
as
make
soon
sure
as
that
they
Selma
hear
is
that.
with us.
Yes, yeah.
If
You,
I-
you have some. You're here. You can.
Have I got my
Hey.
bow again? Did he like let me take my bow back up?
Yeah. You were able to,
Okay,
to
all
get
right.
it again because they left.
Yeah.
Sven kind of leading the way, like.
Yeah.
And he'll be shouting back at you, like, "Come with us." I'll say that you run out of the woods, and
Wait,
you go
Hjalmar, Hjalmar, did you get my camera?
It's still out there, but it's safe.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, safe as it can be, but I put it up against the tree.
These people won't touch it. Don't worry. Let's get out of here.
And so
Yeah,
so you book it through the woods, through the fog, through the trees, the whooping out behind you. There are no gunshots. You emerge from the woods. And,
While we're running, I would like to excitedly, still wounded, while running as much as I can in pain, would like to
Yeah.
excitedly tell them everything I know, like
Sure, yeah.
just everything I found out, I witnessed everything. While everyone else is trying to, run for their lives, I'm still very excited to tell them everything I found out.
Excellent. Yeah. So you're sort of barking all this out, and you come out from the trees into sort of like the open, and off to your right is the sort of off to your right is the bay, the fjord, and it looks like the sort of tide has gone out, and you can sort of smell like the smell of marsh when the tide goes out, right? Like it immediately catches your nose, and you're crossing as you're heading back to the village. You notice that it looks like there's a very sort of vague sort of trail here, like leading out like toward this island that's closest to the village itself. And you cross over this broken trail as you're running back towards Sven's house. The other two older men sort of go back to their homes, and Sven brings you into sort of like this main room in his home. He shuts the door, like more or less slamming it. This is sort of, except for poor Sven the PC, who had been tackled and manhandled by this man. This is as agitated as you've sort of seen him, and sort of paces back and forth behind the door, and looking at the four of you. He's like, they never should have gone out there. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get killed. The Frisk you've done what you could, Doctor, but what are we going to do?
Well, at least we're all safe now.
Maybe.
I point at Sven the NPC and go, "Who's this?"
This is Sven. Don't
okay.
worry about it.
And he looks at you, Selma, and he says, I have the flocks in town. We had, well, I'm sure the others can tell you more. I don't even know what's happening here anymore. This is all bad. I don't know. There are people that live here that have to come back. What are they going to do? How are they going to come back through the road? It's just getting worse.
Well, we'll have to solve the situation.
Yeah, definitely. Terrible for the people. Yeah. And I just kind of turn around to Hjalmar and goes like, Hjalmar, I heard them talking. They talked with like a single voice. It was weird. I'm thinking something's up with these people. Like it's not them. Like maybe a Vaesen inside of them controlling something. Like I said, 3 different people. I think it was 2 men and a woman. They all talked same voice. It was really something. She probably doesn't notice she has a scar right now, Selma.
Aren't you wearing like a huge bandage across your face?
Yeah. I mean, you're probably bandaged
okay.
around the head, like yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
someone in
that
their
sounds
heads.
like a reasonable.
That's what happened to me.
Can you
Really?
But can you describe how what happened to you, Sven?
I just
Or did you just?
I was feeling tense. I had this spike in anger, and it was focused on Amadeo. Right when he was trying to free Selma, or was in the process of freeing Selma, and I had to stop him. This the only thing that I could think about. I couldn't think about anything else. Just this hatred for Amadeo for trying to free Selma, and I had to stop him.
Was it just like emotion? Was it a voice?
Yeah, it was emotion.
Did it sound anything like this? And then I try to imitate it as best as I can.
I didn't hear a voice. It was just like it was almost like I wanted to do it.
But you didn't.
Of course not.
But
I was there to free Selma with all of you. Why would I try and stop that? No, it was something influenced me, as I said. So maybe these people aren't themselves.
Sven, the villager, is listening as you're having this conversation and watching you. And he says, you're talking about spirits. There's a story here. It says, we passed on the way in the island, the bay. It's where the maid is. She's
the maiden?
She's been here as long as we know, and it's the only spirit that has been with us. But it's not. It's an old story that when people were married back when we had young people here, when they would go out to the island and they would have the blessing of the maid. She would make sure that the children, all the children, and he kind of pauses and maybe even seems to go red for a minute and kind of like struggles. So he's like, the children begot in the grove. They survived all the normal plagues of childhood. I one of those children. She wouldn't do this.
She?
Not this.
Have
The
you
maid.
seen this spirit?
No, but she's there. You know the old stories.
Wait.
It's-
No. Repeat the children thing again.
The children of the maid, that when people would be married, the tradition was that we would go into the grove on the island, and the wedding would be held at the low tide. And after the ceremony, the married couple would stay, and the rest would come back to the village, and the children of those unions would be protected. They had thrived. As I said, my parents were married under the olive tree like all the others.
And
Except
this has
for-
gone on
and-
for. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Yalmar.
This has gone on for generations, you say?
As far back as anyone can remember, but not.
And there are no
It's
children
been-
now?
It's been years now since anyone's been married under the tree.
Ah,
Well. Aha! Yes, exactly. There
What?
might be. Well, the maiden might be upset at there being no people to bless or
I mean,
make deals with.
the people with they have antlers, right?
Hmm.
Well, they spoke they referred to the people in the village as the children. So I'm thinking that this maid spirit is trying to keep the village perhaps safe, perhaps protecting her children.
I think the spirit is trying to keep them from leaving.
Well, this tax collector was from outside, right?
Hmm.
Was not from the village. So I would say it's more protection, maybe. But we are going. I mean, this is, it's based on legends and stories. We
Well,
really need to
let's
take
go
this more
check out the
carefully.
island, no?
Well, first I need, let me take care of myself. Quite partly.
yes. Sorry.
But I didn't want to interrupt, so I guess I was tending to myself
Yeah.
what all this was going on one
Uh-huh.
side, and maybe I started talking when maybe I was feeling
Yeah,
really bandaged myself, I
I
guess.
think that's reasonable.
I would like to describe. I'm assuming maybe I got a good look at the woman. I don't know about since I was awake and she was unconscious. She's probably the
Yeah.
one I got the best look of. I'd like to
Yeah.
describe her to Sven the NPC. See if
Yeah.
he recognizes her.
Yeah,
Knows anything about her.
and and the others, we were walking out to the woods to find you. And was talking about how some mercenaries had come through. One of them was a woman that sounds exactly like that. So you think the maid is using them to protect us?
I think is exactly what's going on. She mentioned. Well, I'm assuming that the maiden was speaking through these people as vessels, perhaps. She mentioned the children, and possibly quite referring to this village as children.
Wait a second, Selma. We are talking about this spirit like if it was real.
Well, of course it's real.
That's what we're here for, Amadeo.
Well, I still need to find proof that this Vaesen or these things are real. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a
but-
man of science, and I would like to, before we jump to this conclusion. I would like to make sure that this is true and not something else.
Well-
They could be under the influence of a drug. Okay.
Well, I mean, we
Well-
we could assume that there is no spirit, and I put Sven, and Sven shot you out of his own will.
Well, that's weird. I agree.
That
Exactly. I think
Well,
the best thing to do here is to investigate that island. See if we can make contact with this maiden.
at that point, we are nearly at time. So, I think we'll draw to a close for now. If everyone's happy with that.
Can I roll for my
Um,
healing?
So you're actually not broken. There's not much more you can do for yourself at this
Okay.
moment. Um,
So how do I lose these physical conditions?
well, so you can when we go into next session, if you want to take time, sort of like we did with
Sven.
player character earlier, you could sort a couple conditions that way.
Hmm.
You could also try and perform medicine on yourself. Like I said, you can do it the whole day. You
Yeah,
could restore like the remaining conditions for Salma as well as yourself. It might be harder. I mean, well, maybe. Sorry, Galmar would have to do it because you're the one who's wounded. But those are the options for sort of healing going forward.
Okay. Very
Um,
good.
so yeah, you can restore the conditions, but yeah, it will take time. It's not like recovering from broken condition where you can sort of do it in like a round. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. This will be a three-parter. Maybe not more. We'll see. Yeah, this is prep that stretches out. It's wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. I didn't participate in chat at all. What do you guys think? How are you finding it?
Great.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
It's fun.
it's good.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm just trying to play the kind of the person who doesn't fully believe in this yet.
Yeah.
We just arrived to this society. Still have to find proof that this is real. I'm just a little bit dazzled by everything that is going on so fast and
Yeah.
just getting shot and a rope by all the time.
By a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit shocked about that, and I'm still not sure what's going on in this town and what's the priest, do is Ben, and well, the priest is from outside, so he's not part of the village. That's something to consider too at some point. But yeah, I'm liking it. I still I'm surprised how deadly this is. How
Yeah.
fast you go down.
Yeah.
It's something, I think by default you should go with a doctor in every game.
Yeah. This has
Yeah.
been definitely more physically dangerous than I
Yeah.
had anticipated, but here we are.
Hmm.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thanks everyone for
Yeah.
being-
That's been
Have we
good. Thanks
stopped
for.
recording?
No, we're
Yeah.
still streaming. We're still
All
streaming.
right. Good. This is like, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely deadly. It's like,
Yeah.
goddamn, he almost killed him immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one good hit,
yeah.
2 successes with a longbow. Yeah, it's.
It was good they didn't give him a rifle or something. Auto kill.
Yeah.
I got lucky with the critical.
Yeah.
Charming Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So-
looks like there's probably not anyone to talk with in chat right now, so
I
We
think
will-
there
we
might
will
still
wait.
be a few people there, but
Okay,
yeah,
I
I
hope
think
so.
we had some. We're still sort of having video problems. It's actually
okay.
it's going on and off. Like at the moment, everybody's moving, which is good. It's only just happened. I don't know.
Well,
what's
hi
going on.
podcast, and I hope you're enjoying listening
Yeah.
to this.
Well, this is going up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So the one thing I wanted to mention before we
Yeah.
stop the stream is that the audio I'm using is from Tabletop Audio. So just in case people are wondering where that's come from. Yeah, But otherwise, thank you for watching. If you want to comment or get in touch, you'll find links in the description below for the well, in the video. So just below me here, over there are links to Discord, to to our Twitch and YouTube channels, Twitter and Facebook. So if you want to get in touch, head over to one of those. Discord is where we're most active, so probably the best place to reach us. But yeah, we'll be doing another tavern talk in a few weeks, I guess, to kind of discuss this episode and kind of any mechanics or what prep you did for it, etc. And otherwise, yeah, that's us. So
Excellent.
Cool. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thanks.
And everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.